Welcome to War Bioses, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military figures. Today, we're going to explore the remarkable life of Douglas MacArthur, one of the most iconic and complex commanders of the 20th century. Born on June 26, 1880 in Little Rock, Arkansas, Douglas MacArthur was the youngest of three sons to Arthur MacArthur Jr., a decorated Union Army officer, and Mary Pinckney Hardy MacArthur. The early years of Douglas MacArthur were marked by a nomadic childhood, as his family moved from one military outpost to another, exposing him to the harsh realities of military life and instilling in him a deep sense of duty and patriotism. The MacArthur's frequent relocations also meant that Douglas attended several different schools, including the Force Public School in Washington, D.C., where he developed a keen interest in history and literature. As we imagine young Douglas navigating the corridors of his childhood, we're struck by the imposing figure of his father, Arthur, who towered over the family with his Medal of Honor and tales of battle. The elder MacArthur's stories of leadership and sacrifice left an indelible mark on his son, fostering an unshakable desire to follow in his footsteps. Douglas's mother, Mary, played an equally significant role in shaping his character, encouraging his intellectual pursuits and nurturing his sense of compassion and empathy. Her influence would later manifest in MacArthur's own leadership style, which balanced unwavering resolve with a deep understanding of the human cost of war. As a child, Douglas was known for his boundless energy, mischievous streak, and intense competitiveness. These traits would later become hallmarks of his military career, driving him to push himself and those around him to achieve greatness. The MacArthur family's frequent moves also taught Douglas the importance of adaptability and resilience, essential qualities for any military leader. We can almost hear the sound of Douglas's laughter echoing through the corridors of their various homes as he engaged in lively debates with his siblings and classmates about the finer points of warfare. In 1893, the MacArthurs settled in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Douglas attended the West Texas Military Academy, a school that would lay the foundation for his future academic and military successes. It was during this period that Douglas began to develop his passion for strategy and tactics, often spending hours poring over military texts and engaging in lively debates with his classmates about the art of war. The Academy's emphasis on discipline, honor, and duty resonated deeply with Douglas, who saw himself as a future leader, destined to make his mark on the world. The late 19th century was a time of great upheaval and transformation in the United States, with the country transitioning from a continental power to a global force. The Spanish-American War, which broke out in 1898, marked a significant turning point in American history as the nation began to assert its influence on the world stage. For Douglas MacArthur, this period was particularly formative as he watched his father prepare for deployment to the Philippines, where Arthur would play a key role in the war effort. The sound of drums beating and bugles blaring still echoes in our minds as we imagine Douglas watching his father depart, feeling a sense of pride and purpose that would stay with him throughout his life. As the 19th century drew to a close, Douglas MacArthur stood at the threshold of his own journey, poised to embark on a path that would take him to the heights of military glory and the depths of personal turmoil. The early years of his life had instilled in him a sense of purpose, a commitment to duty, and an unyielding ambition that would drive him to achieve greatness, no matter the cost. We can almost see the fire burning within him as he set his sights on West Point, determined to follow in his father's footsteps and forge his own path in the annals of American military history. As Douglas MacArthur stood at the threshold of his own journey, he was accepted into the United States Military Academy at West Point in 1899, where he would spend the next 4 years honing his military skills and developing his strategic thinking amidst the rugged Hudson River landscape. As he walked the storied halls of West Point, MacArthur was surrounded by the ghosts of military giants past, from Robert E. Lee to Ulysses S. Grant, whose examples inspired him to strive for greatness. The young cadet's fascination with military history and theory was evident in his writings and discussions with peers, revealing a nascent strategic thinker eager to make his mark on the world. Upon graduation, MacArthur was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army Corps of Engineers and began his military career in the Philippines, where his father had served during the Spanish-American War. The young officer's early years in the military were marked by a series of postings in the Pacific, including the Philippines and Japan, where he gained valuable experience in engineering, logistics, and command, as well as a deep appreciation for the complexities of cultural and linguistic diversity. MacArthur's time in the Philippines was particularly formative as he navigated the challenges of colonial administration, insurgent warfare, and humanitarian relief, experiences that would shape his views on counterinsurgency and nation-building. In 1914, MacArthur was appointed as the officer in charge of the War Department's Bureau of Information, where he played a key role in shaping public opinion on military matters during World War I. His work in this capacity helped to establish him as a skilled communicator and strategist, traits that would serve him well throughout his career. As he navigated the treacherous waters of wartime propaganda and censorship, MacArthur demonstrated a keen understanding of the importance of information operations in modern warfare, recognizing that the battle for hearts and minds was just as crucial as the battle for territory. As the United States entered World War I, MacArthur was appointed as the Chief of Staff of the 42nd Division, a position that would take him to the trenches of France and into the midst of some of the war's most brutal fighting. He also developed a deep respect for the men under his command, recognizing that their courage, sacrifice, and dedication were essential to achieving victory. The horrors of trench warfare, the stench of mustard gas, and the cries of the wounded left an indelible mark on MacArthur's psyche, tempering his romanticism with a grim realism that would inform his approach to war for decades to come. In the years following World War I, MacArthur continued to rise through the ranks, serving as the superintendent of West Point from 1919 to 1922, and later as the commander of the Philippine Department. During this period, he also became a vocal advocate for military modernization and reform, arguing that the Army needed to adapt to new technologies and strategies in order to remain effective. MacArthur's vision for a more agile, more flexible, and more technologically advanced military was influenced by his studies of the German General Staff System, as well as his observations of the Soviet Red Army's innovative tactics during the Russian Civil War. As the 1930s dawned, MacArthur was appointed as the Chief of Staff of the United States Army, a position he held from 1930 to 1935. During his tenure, he oversaw significant reforms and modernization efforts, including the development of new doctrine, the expansion of the Army's air power capabilities, and the establishment of the General Headquarters Air Force. One notable example of MacArthur's leadership during this period was his handling of the Bonus Army crisis in 1932, when a group of World War I veterans marched on Washington to demand early payment of a promised bonus. Despite the challenges and controversies surrounding this event, MacArthur demonstrated his ability to balance firmness with compassion, earning the respect of his peers and the admiration of the public. Throughout his career, MacArthur was known for his strong personality, his unwavering commitment to his principles, and his unshakable confidence in his own abilities. As he once observed, "There is no security in life, only opportunity," a phrase that captures the essence of his approach to military leadership and his vision for the future of the United States Army. This aphorism reflected MacArthur's profound understanding of the uncertain nature of war and the importance of seizing the initiative, as well as his recognition that true leadership is not about avoiding risk, but about embracing it with courage and conviction. As the 1930s gave way to the 1940s, Douglas MacArthur's star continued to rise, culminating in his appointment as Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces in the Pacific during World War II. The weight of responsibility rested heavily on his shoulders as he navigated the complex web of alliances and rivalries between the United States, Australia, and other nations. The scent of salt water and diesel fuel hung in the air as MacArthur stood on the deck of his flagship, gazing out at the endless expanse of the Pacific Ocean. His determination to retake the Philippines, which had been occupied by Japan, became an all-consuming passion, driven by a deep sense of duty and honor. The Philippines, with its lush green forests and sun-scorched beaches, was more than just a strategic location. It was a personal crusade for MacArthur. He had served as the military advisor to the Philippine Commonwealth in the 1930s, and the country's people had grown close to his heart. The memory of his departure from the Philippines in 1942, leaving behind his troops and the Filipino people, haunted him still. In 1945, MacArthur presided over the Japanese surrender ceremony aboard the USS Missouri, marking the formal end of World War II. The somber atmosphere was palpable as Japanese officials, clad in formal attire, boarded the ship to sign the instrument of surrender. MacArthur's words, laced with a deep sense of gravitas, echoed across the deck. The soldier, above all other men, is required to perform the highest act of religious teaching, sacrifice. These words encapsulated the essence of MacArthur's character. Forged in the crucible of war and tempered by his unwavering commitment to duty. As he looked out at the gathering of Allied leaders and Japanese officials, he knew that this moment marked not only the end of a war, but also the beginning of a new era of peace and cooperation. In the post-war period, MacArthur served as the supreme commander for the Allied powers in occupied Japan, overseeing a remarkable transformation of the country from a militarized society to a peaceful, democratic nation. He walked the streets of Tokyo, taking in the sights and sounds of a city ravaged by war. The smell of smoke and ash still lingered in the air, but MacArthur saw beyond the devastation. He saw an opportunity for rebirth and renewal. His leadership during this period was marked by a deep understanding of the complexities of Japanese culture and a willingness to listen and learn. As he navigated the delicate balance between occupation and reconstruction, MacArthur demonstrated a keen sense of empathy and compassion, recognizing that true victory lay not in conquest, but in the creation of a more just and equitable society. MacArthur's later years were marked by controversy and heartbreak, as his disagreements with President Harry Truman over the conduct of the Korean War led to his eventual dismissal as commander of United Nations forces. The tension between them was palpable, a clash of wills that would ultimately seal MacArthur's fate. Despite this setback, MacArthur remained a respected and influential figure, continuing to advocate for his vision of a strong, modern military and a robust national defense. As he looked out at the world around him, he knew that the challenges of the Cold War would require a new generation of leaders, equipped with the strategic vision and courage to face the complexities of modern warfare. As he stood before the gathered lawmakers, his voice weak but resolute, MacArthur knew that his time on this earth was drawing to a close. He passed away on April 5, 1964, at the age of 84, leaving behind a legacy that continues to shape our understanding of military leadership, strategic vision, and the complexities of war. Today, Douglas MacArthur is remembered as one of the most iconic and influential figures in American military history, a man whose unwavering commitment to duty, honor, and country inspired generations of soldiers and civilians alike. His legacy extends far beyond his own lifetime, continuing to inform our understanding of the complexities of modern warfare and the importance of strategic vision in shaping the course of human events. As we look to the future, we would do well to remember MacArthur's words, "There is no security in life, only opportunity." It is up to us to seize those opportunities, to face the challenges of our time with courage and determination, and to build a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.